And I remember, like, I don't know if you know what his voice sounds like, but, like, I felt like I was in the presence of his monster inside.
We all saw it posted yesterday all over our social media pages. Cassie filed a lawsuit in New York City against Diddy.
Yikes.
She's claiming she was stuck in a decade-long cycle of abuse.
All right, here we go. Let's talk about one of the biggest bombshells in the celebrity world right now. Sean Diddy Combs, a name that's synonymous with success, fame, and money, is now at the center of one of the most jaw-dropping scandals in Hollywood history. The man who once ruled the music industry is now sitting behind bars, and rumors are swirling that he's made a deal with the FBI to save himself from a life sentence. But what's even more shocking? The alleged dirt he's giving up isn't just about his own shady dealings. No, Diddy's reportedly handing over secrets about some of the biggest names in entertainment. People are calling it the ultimate betrayal, and if what we're hearing is true, there could be dozens, if not hundreds, of high-profile arrests in the near future.
That he controlled every aspect of her life. He is accused of frequently beating her and would hide her in hotel rooms for days until the bruising and signs of abuse were gone.
So, how did we get here? How did a man who once threw legendary parties and hung out with the biggest celebrities end up in a jail cell? And why is the entire entertainment industry in panic mode right now, terrified about what might come out next? Well, buckle up, because this story has everything. Betrayal, secrets, and an industry that might never look the same again.
The issue is, it seems as though he wants to kind of like exert power and dominance over people who don't really want it.
First, let's talk about Diddy's arrest. In September 2024, he was taken into custody at a Manhattan hotel, and the charges weren't exactly minor. We're talking about accusations of racketeering, conspiracy, and a whole list of other offenses that could put him away for life. But the real drama started after his arrest.
And in this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap industry.
According to insiders, Diddy's lawyers had a hard conversation with him, one that no one in his position wants to hear. They reportedly told him that his only way out of spending the rest of his life behind bars was to cooperate. And by cooperate, they didn't mean just confessing to his own crimes. No, they meant spilling the tea on everyone else in his circle. And from what we've heard, that's exactly what he's done.
The rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
The rumors suggest that Diddy has been keeping tabs on his so-called friends and associates for years. Think about it, this is a guy who's been at the top of the industry for decades, rubbing shoulders with the biggest stars and hosting some of the wildest, most exclusive parties. According to sources, those parties weren't just about having fun. They were opportunities for Diddy to collect dirt on the people around him. We're talking about hidden cameras, secret recordings, and all sorts of compromising material that Diddy allegedly held onto for leverage. Now, with the FBI breathing down his neck, it looks like he's using that material to save himself.
That clearly there is a criminal investigation underway, and that they believe that there would be evidence of crimes in one or both of these homes.
And if you think this is just about Diddy, think again. His arrest has sent shockwaves through Hollywood, and the names being mentioned are some of the biggest in the business. Jay-Z, Stevie J, and even Cuba Gooding Jr. are rumored to be caught up in this mess. Let's start with Jay-Z. Everyone knows Jay and Diddy go way back. They've been friends, business partners, and rivals for years, but now sources are saying that Jay might have been a regular at some of Diddy's infamous gatherings, and not just as a guest. There are whispers that Diddy has some seriously compromising info on Jay, stuff that could not only destroy his reputation, but also land him in legal trouble.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
And it doesn't stop there. Stevie J, another longtime associate of Diddy's, is reportedly also sweating bullets right now. He's been publicly defending Diddy, but behind the scenes, there are rumors that he's one of the people Diddy's named in his deal with the FBI. Stevie J has been linked to some questionable activities over the years, and if Diddy's really giving up all his secrets, Stevie J could be in big trouble. Then there's Cuba Gooding Jr. now. This one's really wild. Cuba's been facing his own legal issues recently, but according to the latest gossip, Diddy might have even more dirt on him. Remember all those Hollywood parties we've been hearing about? Well, Cuba was apparently a regular guest, and it's rumored that Diddy has some seriously damaging information about what went down at those events. If the FBI gets their hands on that, Cuba's current legal problems might be the least of his worries.
Now you got the Diddy situation where he jumps on a private jet, they say yesterday, and is on his way to the Cape Verde Islands.
But here's the thing. It's not just about individual celebrities. The rumors are that Diddy's deal with the FBI goes way deeper than just throwing a few names under the bus. He's allegedly giving them the keys to the kingdom, the location of all the dirt he's collected over the years. Think of it like Pandora's box, and once it's opened, there's no telling how many people will be exposed. Some insiders are even saying that Diddy had a whole network of people helping him gather this information, from assistants to security guards to party planners. It's like something out of a spy thriller, but it's real, and it's happening right now.
These are all allegations that have become shockingly familiar against Diddy in recent months, as he has faced lawsuit after lawsuit from women and men who have accused him of all manner of bad behavior.
One of the most explosive rumors is about how Diddy allegedly used his parties to blackmail celebrities. According to multiple sources, Diddy would invite the biggest stars in the world to his lavish events where the atmosphere was wild, the drinks were flowing, and the behavior got pretty out of control. What the guests didn't know was that Diddy had hidden cameras all over his properties. He allegedly filmed everything: private conversations, questionable behavior, you name it. Then, when the time was right, he'd use that footage to his advantage, either to secure business deals or to keep certain people in check. But now that he's in hot water, it seems he's willing to hand over all that footage to the authorities in exchange for a lighter sentence.
Everything that you're looking at, they're all tied in together. Every part, as crazy as this seems, as outrageous as it seems, it all ties in. Every bit of it.
What's even crazier is that some of the biggest names in the industry are reportedly in full-on panic mode right now. We're hearing whispers that certain celebrities are trying to flee the country, while others are desperately reaching out to their lawyers to figure out how to get ahead of whatever's coming. And get this, there are even rumors that a few of them are trying to cut their own deals with the FBI before the hammer comes down. It's like a race against time, and no one wants to be the last one standing when the music stops. One source claims that a well-known A-list actor has already left the U.S., fearing that they'll be named in Diddy's testimony. Meanwhile, another insider says that several high-profile music producers are scrambling to destroy any evidence that could tie them to Diddy's more controversial activities. It's a full-blown crisis, and Hollywood hasn't seen anything like it in years.
Replete with very, very serious and salacious allegations, including allegations that Combs had cameras throughout his...
Now let's talk about the deal itself. According to the rumors, Diddy's lawyers have been working around the clock to negotiate with federal prosecutors. The idea is that if Diddy cooperates fully, meaning he gives them everything they want, he could avoid the life sentence he was originally facing. Instead, he might get a much shorter sentence, something like 10 or 15 years, and he could even end up serving it in a minimum security facility. In other words, he'd get off pretty easy compared to what he was looking at before. And for someone in Diddy's position, that's a deal worth making.
New at 5, the legal troubles continue for Sean Diddy Combs tonight after a judge ordered the music mogul to pay $100 million to a Michigan man who says that he was sexually assaulted by Combs in '97.
According to court documents, Derek Cardello Smith says Combs drugged and then assaulted him during an after party at a Holiday Inn in Detroit. But Combs never responded to the lawsuit in court.
But what's the motivation behind Diddy's decision to turn on his friends? Well, some say it's pure survival instinct. After all, Diddy's built his entire career on staying one step ahead of the game, and this situation is no different. Faced with the possibility of losing everything, his freedom, his fortune, and his legacy, it looks like Diddy's decided that his best chance at coming out of this with something intact is to play ball with the authorities. And if that means taking down some of his closest allies in the process, so be it.
Now, so what is next? Is he going to be in jail in this facility until the trial begins? Is there a chance he could, get moved earlier than that?
As of this moment, as of this hour, as of today, yes. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be appealing this thing next to the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to overturn the judge's order here to try and get him actually released.
Others, however, think there's more to the story. There's a growing theory that Diddy's been planning this for a while. According to this theory, Diddy has known for years that the day might come when he'd have to face the consequences of his actions, so he's been quietly preparing for it by collecting as much leverage as possible. If this is true, it would mean that Diddy's not just reacting to his arrest. He's been orchestrating his escape plan from the start, carefully gathering the information he knew he'd need to cut a deal when the time came.
Stacey Schneider. And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise.
And let's not forget the sheer scope of what's at stake here. We're talking about some of those powerful people in the entertainment industry, people with careers, fortunes, and reputations to protect. If even a fraction of the rumors are true, the fallout from Diddy's cooperation could reshape the landscape of Hollywood and the music business for years to come. We might see careers destroyed, empires crumble, and secrets that have been buried for decades finally come to light.
The plaintiff. So basically what that means is the money that they're saying Diddy has to start paying this guy on October 1st, right. Diddy's team is like, hold on, we need an emergency conversation about why this should not have been granted. Mm-hmm. And they awarded him a TRO, which basically meant that Diddy's team was not allowed to sell any property in that state or anything related to what could be used to pay.
At this point, the entire industry is holding its breath, waiting to see what happens next. Will Diddy follow through on his alleged deal with the FBI? Will we start seeing arrests of other big names in the coming weeks? And most importantly, who's going to be caught in the crossfire? One thing's for sure, this story is far from over, and the full extent of Diddy's cooperation with the feds is likely to send shockwaves through the entertainment world for a long time to come. So, we've already talked about Diddy's arrest, the deal he allegedly made with the FBI, and how his decision to spill all the industry secrets has sent shockwaves through Hollywood. But here's the real question. Why now? Why is Diddy, someone who's been rumored to be involved in questionable activities for almost 3 decades, suddenly in handcuffs? It's not like the rumors are anything new. This is a guy whose name has been linked to controversy and scandal for years. Yet for so long, he seemed untouchable. Some people are even asking if this arrest was really about his alleged crimes or if there's something bigger going on behind the scenes. Was Diddy too powerful? Too independent? Or is there more to the story than meets the eye?
If he's allowed to go through with any of the sales, I won't be able to recoup any of my monies or anything from him as a result of any possible judgment in this action, if he's allowed to proceed with it. And an injunction or a restraining order would help ensure that he's not manipulating and selling the property to a...
Let's take a step back and really dig into the theories surrounding Diddy's sudden fall from grace. The first and most talked about theory is that Diddy has been an informant for years. Yep, you heard that right. Some people believe that Diddy's been working with the feds for a long time, quietly collecting dirt for them while building his empire. If that sounds like something out of a movie, well, you're not alone. But hear us out. There's more to this theory than just wild speculation.
Diddy has been under criminal investigation for months by federal prosecutors here in New York. And if there are criminal charges, many of them may look a lot like what some of these individuals have been describing.
For starters, think about how long Diddy's been in the game. He's been rubbing shoulders with the most influential people in the music industry since the early 90s, when he first broke onto the scene with Bad Boy Records. Over the years, his career has been marked by highs and lows, but one thing remained constant. He always seemed to come out on top, no matter how many controversies swirled around him. Take the nightclub shooting back in 1999, for example. Diddy was facing serious charges, but he walked away with his career intact. The same can't be said for Shine, the rapper who ended up doing time after the incident. Some people still talk about how Diddy's legal team managed to secure a not guilty verdict while his protege wasn't so lucky. And then there's the fact that Diddy has been linked to all sorts of violent altercations over the years, but he's never faced long-term consequences for any of them.
Problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there is enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We shall see. These are allegations.
Now, let's look at the whispers about his possible connections to law enforcement. According to some industry insiders, Diddy's ability to avoid major legal trouble over the years wasn't just luck. There's a rumor that he's been cooperating with the feds for a while, passing them information on other people in the industry in exchange for protection. It's a theory that's been floating around for years, but it's getting a lot more attention now that he's behind bars. Some folks believe that Diddy's deal with the FBI didn't just start with his recent arrest. It's been going on for years, and he's been strategically gathering leverage over people in the industry, not just for his own gain, but for theirs, too. Here's where things get even juicier. If Diddy really has been working with the feds all this time, why did they decide to arrest him now? Some people think it's because Diddy's power and influence had grown too big. Over the years, he's built an empire that spans music, fashion, TV, and even spirits. He's a billionaire who's managed to stay relevant for decades, and for some, that's too much power for one person to have. The theory is that Diddy became too independent. He wasn't just a music mogul anymore. He was a force in multiple industries with connections to some of the most powerful people in the world. And when someone has that much influence, they become a threat to the establishment.
Do you believe Diddy is a dangerous person?
Yes.
There are even rumors that certain people in high places want to bring Diddy down because he was becoming too unpredictable. According to this theory, Diddy's arrest was less about the crimes he's accused of and more about reining him in before he could use his power and connections in ways that could upset the balance of control. Some people say that Diddy had dirt on politicians, business leaders, and other influential figures, not just celebrities, and that his arrest was a way to prevent him from wielding that information to his advantage.
With this newest lawsuit, this would probably only expedite or increase the amount of allegations and potential witnesses who could testify against Sean Combs.
Let's not forget that Diddy's been involved in some pretty shady stuff for almost 30 years. There's a long list of incidents where his name has been linked to violence, manipulation, and control. His parties, for example, have been the stuff of legend for years, but not always for the right reasons. According to several insiders, these events weren't just wild parties. They were carefully orchestrated gatherings where Diddy would collect dirt on his guests. And we're not just talking about the footage he's rumored to have from hidden cameras. Some people claim that Diddy used these parties to get people into compromising situations, then held that information over their heads to control them.
Diddy is now being sued in addition to what we just talked about by Dawn Richards. You guys will remember her. She was a part of Making the Band.
Dirty Money.
Dirty Money, the Danny Kane era. So basically what she is alleging, she's alleging a lot of different things.
The allegations go even deeper. Some conspiracy theorists believe that Diddy wasn't just gathering dirt for himself. He was doing it for the feds too. They say that Diddy was acting as a sort of industry spy, feeding information to law enforcement about other powerful figures in the entertainment world. If that's true, it would explain why Diddy's been able to stay out of jail for so long. He wasn't just avoiding trouble, he was actively working with the people who could protect him from it.
And a lot of the evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those 2 raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these sexual performances that have been named.
But what's changed? Why would the FBI suddenly turn on him now after all these years? Well, one theory is that Diddy stopped playing by the rules. Maybe he became too powerful, or maybe he started using his information in ways that threatened the wrong people. Some believe that Diddy was becoming a liability, that he knew too much and wasn't afraid to use it. Others think that his recent behavior was becoming more erratic, making him a danger to the very system that had been protecting him. There's also speculation that Diddy's recent ventures, like his renewed focus on the music industry with his 2023 album, The Love Album, Off the Grid, were part of his attempt to reassert control over his narrative. After years of focusing on business deals and branding, Diddy seemed to be positioning himself for a major comeback in the music world. But according to some, that was part of the problem. His resurgence as a cultural figure may have put him back in the spotlight in ways that made certain powerful people uncomfortable. He was no longer just a businessman. He was once again a central figure in the cultural conversation, and that made him harder to control.
I've had clients describe NBC as hell, as the worst conditions they've been in.
And let's not forget the rumors that Diddy's arrest may have been triggered by his decision to burn certain bridges. Some insiders say that Diddy was starting to distance himself from people he'd once been close to, people who had helped him build his empire and keep it afloat. According to this theory, Diddy was cutting ties with those who had once protected him, and in doing so, he made himself vulnerable. Without the backing of certain powerful individuals, Diddy became an easy target for law enforcement. Of course, there's another side to all of this. Some people believe that Diddy's arrest is simply the result of years of bad behavior finally catching up with him. They point to the multiple lawsuits, accusations, and allegations that have been filed against him over the years and argue that Diddy's downfall was inevitable. They say that it was only a matter of time before the authorities decided to take action, and that all the conspiracy theories about Diddy being an informant or becoming too powerful are just noise. According to this view, Diddy's arrest is the result of years of bad choices finally coming home to roost.
That this is the end of the Diddy story as we know it.
But the timing is what really has people talking. Why now? Why, after decades of whispers and rumors, is Diddy finally facing serious legal consequences? And why are so many of Hollywood's biggest names reportedly so scared? If this really is just about Diddy's crimes, why are so many people acting like they could be next? That's where the conspiracy theories get really interesting.
Now, if the government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being, they have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
Some believe that Diddy's arrest is just the tip of the iceberg, that we're on the verge of seeing a massive takedown of powerful people in the entertainment industry. The theory goes that Diddy's cooperation with the FBI isn't just about saving himself. It's part of a larger plan to clean up the industry by exposing the skeletons in everyone's closet. And if that's true, then we could be looking at a domino effect, with one big name after another getting taken down. Others, however, think that Diddy's arrest is part of a larger conspiracy to protect certain powerful people while sacrificing others. According to this theory, Diddy's being used as a scapegoat, someone who can take the fall for the darker side of the industry while protecting the real power players behind the scenes. The idea is that by taking down someone as big as Diddy, law enforcement can claim they're cleaning up the industry, while the real puppet masters remain untouchable.
And let me tell you something else. Not only should he have apologized to Cassie in that video, he should have apologized to all of the general public that he lied to.
No matter which theory you believe, one thing is clear. Diddy's arrest has opened a Pandora's box that's not going to close anytime soon. Whether he's been working with the feds all along, became too powerful for his own good, or is simply the victim of his own actions finally catching up with him, the entertainment industry may never be the same after this. And as more information comes to light, it's only going to get messier. The big question now is, who's next? If the rumors are true and Diddy's given up the dirt on other powerful figures in Hollywood, we could be looking at a series of arrests that would shake the entertainment world to its core. Who will be caught in the fallout? And how will the industry change once all these secrets come to light? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, because this story is far from over.